Welcome to Sam's Gun Sight. Today we'll be reviewing the Heckler and Koch VP9.
So what's in the case?
Well, when you open the case, you have the gun, which is chambered in 9mm. You have a magazine that comes with the gun. There's a total of 3 magazines. And there's your second one, and then your third one is in the top of the case. Then you have a lock. You have proof of operation rounds. You have small, medium, and large back straps and small, medium, and large side straps. And of course you have the operator's manual, as every gun comes with, and the box itself.
So what are the dimensions of the firearm?
Well, when you look at the firearm, it is a little over 7 1/4 inches long, and it is about 5 1/2 inches high, and a little over 1 1/4 inches wide.
Okay, alrighty. So tell me about the feel of the gun itself.
Okay, so the gun comes with these back straps, as I mentioned earlier, and side straps as well, which that's kind of unusual for a gun to come with side straps. I don't think any of the firearms that I've had. The Smith & Wesson M&P came with the back strap that actually wrapped around partially the side of the grip, but this one comes with side straps and back straps. And when you grab it, you can see that it's got 3 places, indentations in the front of the gun, in the front of the grip for your fingers, and it feels good in the hand. Again, with my hand being average size for somebody that's 6'2", it fits really good with the small sized back straps on it and side panels on it. It's really comfortable. The reason it's comfortable is I think because these radiuses blend all in good with the side straps, and the side straps and the side of the grip isn't just flat, it's kind of rounded, and then also this hump that is located not just on the bottom but more towards the top and or in the middle of the grip, and it's got a nice texture on it, and the webbing, this radius is nice. It's comfortable in the web of your hand, so when you grab it, it feels really good. Actually, this is probably one of the best feeling firearms I've had in my hand. Now, when you want to talk about some other things concerning the feel of the gun, and that you should know that if you want to shoot it if you need a glove, there's enough room in the trigger guard for you to get your glove in there, which is good. And also, just the shape of the trigger itself, it feels comfortable, and it naturally fits your finger. It doesn't have any underwriting swoops, nor is it just straight, nor is it really hard to reach or really close in. So they've done a good job with that.
So tell me some of the things about the controls of the gun itself.
So the controls of the gun are really good. I like the controls because, one, it has ambidextrous ambidextrous slide release, which is nice, and they're easy to operate. The left-handed operated slide release, it is kind of got a fulcrum on it, but they're both easy to operate, and they fit in, they're good sizes, and they're easy to reach. The other things that you have for the controls is the magazine release, which the Heckler and Koch has a lower trigger guard magazine release, which is kind of unusual because most of them have a button that you push. This actually has a lever at the bottom of the trigger guard that you push down instead of pushing in, so it might be a little bit unusual for you to have to it certainly is a different motion that you have, that's for sure, but you don't have to push it too far, and you also it will release without pushing down too far into your finger.
What are some of the safety mechanisms of the firearm?
Well, the firearm has 4 different safety mechanisms. The only one that you can see is the one that's in the trigger. Now, the nice thing about this particular one is it actually depresses all the way into the trigger and is flush with it. So it's kind of different than some of the other ones, the trigger safeties that I've seen. The other safeties are a firing pin safety and a disconnector safety and a disassembly safety. The firing pin safety keeps it from shooting if you drop it. The disconnector pin safety, that's if it's if it's not fully in full battery, then the trigger doesn't engage the firing pin. And the disassembly safety makes sure that it's uncocked and that the magazine is out before you can actually disassemble it.
What are some of the other features of the firearm? Is there anything unique about them?
Well, I don't really know if it's unique because a lot of different firearms have a lot of different kind of features, but some of the additional features for this particular gun, I got a slide mounted loaded chamber indicator. Alright, so when there's no round in it, you can see that there's no red there. When you put a round in it, we're just using a shell for safety purposes, obviously. When you put a round in it, you can see this sliver of red. Now, there's some charging supports for actually actioning the firearm or pulling the slide back. You can't see that loaded chamber indicator past these, but you have to look off to the side or look from the top and you can see it. Very small and kind of hard to see, I would say, but it is there. That's one of the special features. Another one is this red dot that you also saw in the back where the hammer normally is, but since it's a striker fire, there's no hammer. So you can see that red dot when the firing pin is cocked, and when it's not cocked, it goes back far enough into the slide, so it's really not readily visible. Some of the other things that I think is really cool is the relief in the bottom of the grip. So if you drop it in the mud and it gets a bunch of dirt or something in there, and you push the magazine release and it doesn't come out, you can actually physically grab the magazine and pull it out. And I think that's a pretty clever and nice feature that was put on there. Some of the other things is the non-radioactive luminescent night sights. So I'm just going to turn the lights off here right quick. And you can kind of see how those look. Now, one of the things that I did want to mention about the sights is when you're looking at the gap in the rear sights and the width of the front sight, it's kind of there's kind of a big gap in the rear sights compared to the width of the front sight. That's easy for target acquisition and that kind of thing, but I think it hurts your accuracy a little bit when you get farther away than 25 yards. So that's pretty interesting. Some people like different things. I tend to like a smaller gap with just a sliver. I think it helps me to keep my accuracy better. Some of the things also about the slide, it has some front serrations for actually actioning the slide, which is kind of nice. I prefer to grab slides in the back, and it also has back serrations. But again, as I mentioned before, these charging supports, they are super cool and helpful in making you be able to action the slide, which is nice. Another thing that most firearms has is the serrations in the front of the trigger guard. So if you have a two-handed grip and you want to keep one of your fingers on there, it's easy to keep it on there. I don't really use that though. Also, I wanted to mention one more thing about the sights. Per the operator's manual, if you want to adjust them, you need to take it to a Heckler and Koch certified armorer, which I think that's kind of a negative. But, you know, we've shot this gun and it's pretty accurate right out of the box. The Picatinny rail that's on the front, it can hold 5.6 ounces, and it is a full length mil spec, mil standard 1913. So that's pretty cool.
Could you show me some of the more unknown internal features, and could you also show me how to disassemble the firearm?
Sure, the disassembly of the HK VP9 is really quite simple. Again, as I mentioned before, it has disassembly safety feature. Disassembly lever down to take this gun apart without decocking it, removing the magazine, pull it back, and then lock the slide release in place. Then the disassembly lever will lower, pull it back, push it forward. When I pulled it back, the slide release automatically went down. So some of the extra features, the additional features that you can see as you take it apart are the hardened slide guides, which is nice, but I think something that's the more unique things are the recoil spring. It's captured, but a lot of them have that, and it's also a flat recoil spring, which makes the action, I think it makes the action probably a little bit smoother. The barrel itself, there's several things about the barrel. One of them is that it's got a polished feed ramp. A lot of firearms have a polished feed ramp. It also has a cold forged steel barrel, and one of the more unique features is the polygon shaped rifling in the barrel, which is kind of unusual. And all these things are designed to make the gun shoot better or feel better. And the reassembly is just as simple as the disassembly. This goes towards the front. The only thing that's kind of interesting is this piece here just barely grabs this ledge, but that's by design, and it's straightforward to assemble it. Put this in, and you gotta just push down just a little bit when you get to the back, and there it is. Very nice firearm. Purchasing price for this firearm is about $700. The trigger pull is about 5.4 pounds, and again, it's a very nice shooting firearm, and it feels really good in the hand. That's probably, if it isn't the best, it's one of the best feeling firearms that I've had in my hand. If you want to learn more about this firearm and see more videos on it that we've done, you can go to samsgunsite.com. And you know what? Thank you for watching.